Bayley wants to do something that she has never done. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is and why I think it's so possible that people are just sleeping on it. Now, that's a very bold statement to make. Bayley wants to do something she's never done. Think about everything that this woman has been able to accomplish in WWE. Think about everything in which she's been able to accomplish in her career, being a forefront, a pioneer of women's wrestling, or at least what we know as it today. Going down in NXT with the four horsewomen, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. She was there. She was in the trenches. She was the one helping change the culture. Natalya, Paige, Emma, all of these women, they helped change the game in terms of women's wrestling. And she's been able to share the ring with all of those people. And she's been able to build what we know is today's women's wrestling. What I consider to be the golden era of women's wrestling, where you have some of the biggest names in the history of the sport, and there's women, right? Like some of WWE's biggest stars today, they're women. Your Becky Lynch's, your Charlotte Flairs, your Rhea Ripley's. Those are who I'm talking about. And Bayley can lump herself into that because she has been able to be in the trenches. She has been able to change the culture. She's found success in NXT. She's a former NXT Women's Champion. She's a former SmackDown and Raw and Women's Champion. She's held the tag team titles, and now she can set her sights on the Women's U.S. title or the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The culture has changed, and the game has changed when it comes to WWE. Long has been the past of Vince McMahon not wanting to work with other promotions. Triple H bringing in a new realm, if you will, of pro wrestling. He is open to working with other promotions, Pro Wrestling Noah, and obviously TNA Wrestling. NXT stars have gone to TNA, and TNA stars have made it in WWE NXT. Even as recent as is Mickie James showing up in the Women's Royal Rumble match, Jordynne Grace, and obviously this year with TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry. Now, Bayley did an interview with Adrian Hernandez of Unlikely where she shared her excitement over the deal between WWE and TNA. This is something which was officially announced in January, making it very clear, making it very formal that WWE and TNA would continuously work together in the years to come. And she thinks that it's been a game changer for women's wrestling. This is nuts that we're in a relationship with TNA, that we have all of these talented women in NXT, people coming around all around the world to be part of this because it keeps getting bigger and bigger. She then pointed out how WWE's women's division has come so far, and noting that the first ever women's Royal Rumble needed legends and NXT stars just to fill the match. Now WWE, they have enough main roster talent to do it themselves. And that didn't stop Bayley from instantly hitting up Triple H when the TNA partnership was announced. She said, when they announced the TNA partnership, I texted Hunter immediately. Sign me up, dude. He was like, okay, hold your horses. They have a system they have to go with, she revealed. Now, keep in mind that Bayley has already spent time helping those in NXT rise to the occasion, but the idea of her mixing it up with TNA Knockouts division, well, that clearly has her hyped and ready to go. With WWE's and TNA's working relationship just getting started, Bayley could be one of the major names for the main roster to step through the forbidden door and go to TNA Wrestling. She can mix it up with several stars, and several stars in which I think would benefit from sharing the ring with her. Could I see Bayley go to TNA in 2025? Yes, 1,000%. Do I think it's more likely that she would wrestle a TNA star in a NXT ring? Yes, that seems way more likely. I also think I think they're going to keep it limited, though. If you just look at WWE's history, right? They rarely send big name talent to go to another promotion and have them lose, right? They always go over. I don't think that's anything different here. Like, when and if Bayley works a TNA star, she's going to go over, right? Like, they're not going to have her lose. So I'm very curious to see, A, when does this happen? B, who does she work with? And C, what are the stakes? Like, I can't necessarily see her going to TNA and challenging for, like, the TNA Knockouts title. I don't see that happening. It could happen, but I don't think it's likely, right? I can see her mixing it up with like a top tier star. Like here's a match that I was thinking, okay, what's one of the bigger matches that WWE could book with TNA? And sure, you could do a Joe Hendry match. He's super duper over, but I actually think you would benefit so much, both sides would, if you booked someone, a Bayley, a Jade Cargill, a Rhea Ripley, against Tessa Blanchard, right? She's a very controversial name. She's also someone in which fans, they may disagree with her personality and her personal actions. But in terms of a pure in-ring talent, you can't get much better than Tessa Blanchard. And I think you having her mix it up with your Baileys, your Jade Cargills, your Rhea Ripleys, I think a lot of that could benefit. I think that would draw a ton of buzz within the fan base. It would make fans either go out of their way to check out NXT or go out and try to find TNA Impact or a TNA pay-per-view event, right? I think that would be very realistic. I think that's the biggest match that you can do in TNA because TNA, they have a lot of good talent, but I wouldn't necessarily say they have a lot of star power type talent. Like I would say the Hardys are probably the Hardys and Joe Hendry are probably their biggest stars, right? And then it's Tessa Blanchard, and then maybe a Nick Nemeth. Um, you know, Josh Alexander, he's about to leave. Jordan Grace just left. So they have a lot of talent, TNA does, but I don't know if they have necessarily the biggest of the star powers. And I think most people would agree with that, right? Like that's not a far-fetched, that's not a wild statement to make. But Bayley, stepping inside, what was it? Crossing the line. That was TNA's old slogan. I think they still have that slogan. I don't really watch TNA. I don't get it with my cable package, but yeah, yeah, you could have Bayley cross the line and have her mix it up with some top tier TNA talent. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We'll see. We'll see. And, Bayley for herself, she's recently made the transition going from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. I think that's going to benefit her. It gives her fresh matchups, new feuds, right? She can work with Rhea or Liv or probably soon to be Becky Lynch. So 2024 was a huge, huge year for Bayley, but I think 2025 is going to be a really, really good follow up year. Just everything, it seems like everything that she does, it just clicks. And that's a very, very good spot to be in if you're a pro wrestler. And I think that's where Bayley is right now. So I'm curious. Let me know it in the comments here below. Who do you think she's going to mix it up with in TNA? Do you think it happens this year? Let me know down in the comments area below.